Welcome back to Yoga Awakening. I'm Katie, and welcome to Meditation Month. This is your first practice, video number 1. Today, our theme is make space. So before we get started here, do be sure, if you haven't already, to take a few minutes to go and watch that introductory video. I'll be sure to leave a link to it down in the description box. We go over a few practical tips there, especially nice if you're brand new to meditating. So if you're ready to get started here with me, you know that you can always pause the video for a moment. If you're not, grab any last little things you might like to have, some water, or if, like me, you're choosing to sit the hips up on a blanket. And then we're going to meet here in our seat, whatever kind of seat you've chosen. So it's totally fine for that seat to be a chair, or maybe on the edge of your couch. Come in to that position. The position ultimately is not important, but it should just be a position that kind of supports this experience, right? So comfy enough so you can be still, but not so comfortable that you're falling asleep. And then your first invitation here is to close the eyes. And that will always be an option that you can take or leave. If it feels easier to focus with eyes open, then I just suggest focusing somewhere out in front of you so that the neck can feel neutral. Maybe something not too busy there. Maybe there's some floor out there in front of you like I have here. Or maybe you choose to close the eyes. Making space. This is where we start. For me, this is a natural starting point. It can be really hard to start to observe and notice and let go of judgment and keep coming back to the experience if we already feel overwhelmed and not very spacious. If it feels like we don't even know how to connect to that basic experience. And that's already a big challenge, so we're going to see how it goes. We'll keep coming back to these ideas. So the next invitation is to bring the hands right to the low belly. And again, you can take it or leave it. Sometimes I find this to be kind of a helpful feedback, and sometimes I feel like I don't really need it. So you can experiment with both. And all we're going to do here to get started is something very simple. We're just going to breathe almost as though we were breathing into the belly. And of course, that's not quite how it's working, but that's how I would like you to think about it. As though you could actually send your breath down here into this space. Maybe you have your hands there, and you can really feel that tactile experience of breathing into the belly. And we'll take about 5 rounds together. So as you inhale, and you can inhale in and out through the nose if that's comfortable, maybe exhaling out through the mouth. As you inhale, feel how the belly can expand a little bit. So try that out. Maybe feeling sort of the skin of the belly pushing into the hands, letting that just be loose. And then as you exhale, feel how there's a natural drawing in. This can be a pretty subtle movement, or you might like to exaggerate it a little bit as you get started and kind of connect to that movement if this is unfamiliar to you. So let's take our 5 rounds or so. Grounding down into your seat, lifting up long through the spine, and then hands on the belly or wherever else you would like to have them. Maybe that's just resting on the tops of the thighs. Let's inhale together and feel the belly expand. Exhale, feel it softly drawing in closer to the back of the body. Inhale to expand. Exhale to soften. Inhale to expand. Exhale to soften. Inhale to expand. Feel the belly pushing against the hands. Exhale to soften and release that expansion. One more inhale. And exhale. Feel free to release the hands now to the tops of the thighs if you'd like, or if that works really well for you, you might keep going. We'll keep this general intention to continue that belly breathing, maybe something a little subtler now. Noticing how you feel. Maybe there's already been a shift, a really simple shift just in those few rounds of intentional breathing. We often bring the attention to the breath as we're starting to meditate because it's a really good way to realize how much power we have over our own experience. It's the only system of the body that is both involuntary and voluntary, that we can let do its own thing, and that we can also become conscious of and start to shift and change. And I think that's a little bit of a metaphor for what starts to happen as we turn that intentional awareness inward. We start to realize that all of these maybe seemingly involuntary processes of our experience, of our emotions, of our thoughts, there's some room there. There's some space. And today we're making space. Breathing in, breathing out. Knowing that actually this idea of breathing down into the low belly, what we're actually doing there physiologically is that we're making space for the primary muscle of breathing, the diaphragm, to come down, which allows air to come into the lungs, into the body. So that natural desire to let the belly expand is actually this muscle moving down, taking up space and kind of pushing some of the organs down. Sometimes we think of this as a little massage, right, for the internal systems, the organs. So I invite you to kind of imagine that as best you can. that even in this simple, intentional act of breathing, you're already making space. This is already something that your body does. And you can encourage it to actually do that better, right? To really allow the belly to feel free instead of holding it in or clenching it in all day, as maybe a lot of us do. So breathing in to make space, and breathing out to soften. Softening into whatever space you've created. Breathing in to make space. Breathing out to soften. I invite you to think about how you might start to embody and feel and experience this idea of spaciousness. And that might be as simple and mundane as just allowing yourself to be in whatever experience you're in. Maybe one of your feet has fallen asleep and you need to take a moment to come out of that rigid posture and fiddle around a little, and then you come right back in to this space that you're creating. Maybe there's something much bigger, something going on in your life that you know you're needing to make space for. Maybe that's something exciting in your life. Maybe it's a big challenge. What would it be like to give yourself space? Even just doing this video, this guided meditation, is a way of making space. You're making space for your own experience without any distractions. And we have so many distractions available to us in daily life. They can be completely infinite. So even if it's a struggle to sit here, even if it's a struggle to know what is my experience right now? What am I experiencing in the body, in the mind, in the emotions? Know that just by asking that question, you've already made space. That intention is enough. Breathing in to make space. And breathing out to soften into the space you've made. Maybe now there feels like there's just enough space so that you can simply be. present in that spaciousness. Maybe that's just appreciating the physical space that you have around you, whatever it is. The spaces of your body. The spaciousness of your belly as you allow it to expand and move. I'll leave you here with one final thought, and this is always an image that I really liked, that I often come back to, or that I might share with students in a live class. It's the image or the metaphor of birds in a sky. Take a moment to close your eyes if they're not already, and just imagine an open sky. Birds flying through, maybe in and out of your vision, from one edge of that vision field to the other. What if you were the sky? And the birds were the thoughts and emotions and temporary experiences within the deeper spaciousness of the sky, of you. The deeper spaciousness of you that can hold this multitude of experiences. Keep that image there. Maybe you're really imagining sitting in a field with that open sky, gazing up into it, and connecting to this awareness that you are also that vast, that you are also that infinite, that you are in fact like the sky. Let's close together as we'll close each of our practices. Hands drawing together at heart center. You might say along with me out loud or in your head, the light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.